Oh, happy! Hi, hello! Oh, 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 oh. I was kind of scrambling a bit because I was losing track of time. I checked the clock and oh shit, I got stream in like 10 minutes. Somehow slipped my mind to set an alarm about a half hour ahead of time. But I think I settled in pretty well, all things considered. Let me adjust my microphone a little bit. Getting all real nice and close like. Okay, I have a little bit, I got my water. With a tinge of raspberry lemonade mixed within. And then I got some coffee. I think there's like... yeah, there's less than half, but it's still a hefty sum. Wah! Okay. Oh! I forgot to account for all of the other stream frogs. So until further notice. Boop. And boop. Okay. And then my lovies can stay because they redeemed. Like always. Always so trusty. Always keeping my cranium cozy. Okay. Been a little while since we looked at SCPs. Kinda wondering if we should kinda look about if we should look about in the same way we have been, you know, just doing randos, or if maybe we should go by series, by generations. We have 10 generations already. And we just saw on the front page they're doing a contest for number 9,000. Let's do it by series. Let's do it by series this time. Just browse around. Actually, let's go backwards. Oh, is there already? Oh, was there already a winner picked for 9,000? Okay, so we're gonna go from newest to oldest, because I know the older ones are actually quite disturbing, quite fitting for the month, for the occasion, for the holiday. Naturally, there seem to be a lot of entries that are not yet filled. But I know probably the first one that immediately caught my eye, 9009, quote, white people. Oh my. This article has depictions of racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, transphobia, explicit depictions of sexual acts, and general nastiness. Reader discretion advised. Okay, maybe that might be a bit much to start off. Corpse cutters. Theseus's goose. There's a man-shaped hole in God's heart. How about power creep? Okay. And then I imagine... yeah. Okay. Wait, anomalous item. Ah! That will be confusing at all. Okay. SCP-9051. Anomalous item 1801. Description: a small 1-ounce bottle of shampoo labeled Spa Fantastique Shampoo Conditioner. When fully emptied, the bottle refills itself to full within 3 minutes. Date of recovery: it's either January 2nd or February 1st, 2005. Location of recovery: a business hotel in Redacted, California. Current status: in the storage wing of Site-199. Personnel wishing to use item 1801 must file a request form through storage wing head Dr. Steele. Diary entry: March 23rd, 2007. I just got the news. Yesterday, Dr. Marcus told me that I will be promoted to researcher and I will start work effective the 25th. Maybe it's the shampoo from 1801 giving me luck. The future's looking bright. Kaylee. Hello, cookware! You are just in time for the first readings. Okay. Oh, here's the proper, article. SCP-9051. Object class: safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-9051 is to be kept in a storage container in the low-risk security wing of Site-199. Personnel wishing to test SCP-9051 and the abilities of SCP-9051-A must direct all requests to Researcher Stevenson. Description: SCP-9051 is a 1 fluid-ounce elliptical bottle labeled Spa Therapy Shampoo. The fluid inside the bottle has been identified as identical to non-anomalous shampoo. The fluid within the bottle can be removed and used as shampoo. However, SCP-9051 can never be fully emptied. When opened, SCP-9051 will also generate SCP-9051-A, an entity made out of the same fluid inside SCP-9051 within a 3-meter spherical radius of its location. The entity is capable of emitting gurgling noises, but cannot move, speak, or demonstrate any other indications of sapience. Anyone also in the 3-meter spherical radius within SCP-9051-A will report mild distress and headaches when hearing the gurgles emitted by the entity. Staying within this radius for 3 minutes or longer will cause subjects affected by SCP-9000-A. I think that's a typo. Affected by the SCP to lose consciousness. This loss of consciousness usually entails the subject immediately fainting. Hello, Ash! Yes, indeed, I provide the SCP. We are just reading one of the newer ones. We're gonna go from the newest series and work backwards to the classics. Let's see. Addendum 1, Discovery. SCP-9051 was discovered in a hotel room in Redacted, California on January 2nd, 2005, after an infinite shampoo bottle had been reported by a businessman staying in the room. The businessman and hotel staff were amnesticized after the object was secured. SCP-9051 was brought back to Site-199 and initially given the designation of Anomalous Object 1801, now classified as Iteration 9051-0. At the time of discovery, SCP-9051 had the property to refill itself within 5 minutes of being emptied. Addendum 2, Updated Properties. On March 25, 2007, a junior researcher wishing to use SCP-9051 discovered that its previous properties had been changed to the current iteration. SCP-9051-A manifested when SCP-9051 was opened, causing the junior researcher to be affected by SCP-9051-A's audio hazardous properties for 1 minute. SCP-9000. Oh, I wonder if maybe, this was a contest entry, and that's why it's labeled as 9000. And it wasn't fully corrected. The SCP was given its current designation, and permanent containment was moved from the storage wing to the containment wing. Conversation recorded between researcher Kaylee Stevenson and Site Containment Wing head Dr. Jacob Marcus, April 2nd, 2009. Dr. Stevenson enters an elevator where Dr. Marcus is already standing. The elevator doors close. Dr. Stevenson claps Dr. Marcus on the shoulder. Dr. Marcus is observed sighing. "How are you, Dr. Marcus?" "Pretty well." They ride in silence for about 10 seconds. "I just turned in the newest reports on 9051. This thing doesn't require too much testing, but we're making progress on understanding the audio hazard." "That's great." "The shampoo is also still pretty usable. I use it every day now." "You sure that stuff's really not anomalous?" "Please, I ran a week of testing on that. D-Class all loved it." "Oh, I also volunteered to help watch over some of Dr. Steele's junior researchers. Can't believe it's only been 2 years since I was one of them." "How do you think my work was over the past week?" "Oh, very productive, very organized, and very effective. You continue to be one of our most hard-working researchers." "Oh, that's great. Does that mean I've stood out to you a lot?" Dr. Marcus sighs again. "That is the least subtle way anyone's asked for a packet approval." Or, no. That is the least subtle way anyone's asked for a packet approval. "So you'll do one?" "I can count that it's been exactly 4 years and 3 months since I joined, and I still haven't gotten a large position." "Be patient with me for once, Stevenson. Remember who's still above you." The elevator doors open. Dr. Marcus gets out. "I recommend 6622 if you want a fun one. Or 8980 to crush your soul." Sweet. Conversation recorded between Site Storage Wing Head Dr. Lucille Steele and Site Containment Wing Head Dr. Jacob Marcus. April 28th, 2010. Dr. Steele and Dr. Marcus are in Dr. Marcus's office. "And every time she runs into me, she somehow manages to bring it up. I don't know what the deal is with her and getting promoted. She wasn't this bad when she was under me back then. That's because she wasn't high enough to be this annoying. And now I'm stuck with her damn promotion packet again, and she's actually qualified to move up. Why don't you just promote her and give her a different set of anomalies? Then she'll have even more work to do." "That won't work. She doesn't want to admit it, but I know she's gotten super attached to 9051. If I take her off of it, she'll keep on complaining about that." There's silence for a bit. "So, are you going to approve her packet?" Diary entry, May 1st, 2010. Why am I still stuck with this one stupid anomaly? I could be managing the whole site with the way I work. Shampoo isn't even that great anymore. Dr. Marcus will see sense. I hope he will. If he doesn't, I'll just make him. I can still see a bright future ahead of me. Just have to keep showing off my stuff. Kaylee. I'm gonna minimize before getting the... Okay. Iteration 9051-2. 8980 does come with major content warnings, though. Well, that's helpful. Good to know. SCP-9051. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-9051 is to be kept in a low-risk cell at least 3 meters wide on all sides at Site-199. A non-audio recording security camera has been installed in SCP-9051's cell by the request of Senior Researcher Stevenson. Description: SCP-9051 is a 1 fluid ounce bottle of clear shampoo labeled Intense Scrub Solution. The fluid inside the bottle has been identified as identical to non-anomalous shampoo. The fluid within the bottle cannot be removed. When opened, SCP-9051 will generate SCP-9051-A, a blob-shaped entity made out of the same fluid inside SCP-9051 within a 3-meter spherical radius of its location. The entity is capable of emitting vague, coherent vocalizations and can move within the 3-meter spherical radius designated above. SCP-9051-A is now capable of manifesting tentacles made out of the same shampoo material. Tentacle manifestation started during testing on May 3rd, 2010, when Senior Researcher Kaylee Stevenson was newly promoted and took control of D-Class testing. Anyone who remains within the 3-meter spherical radius will be terminated by SCP-9051-A by way of these tentacles within 1 minute. Research is pending into a possible connection between SCP-9051 and Senior Researcher Kaylee Stevenson, led by Site Containment Head Dr. Jacob Marcus. Video logs. Footage in SCP... Yeah, it's 9000 again. This had to have been a contest entry. May 5th, 2010. Dr. Stevenson and D-1003 enter the cell of SCP-9051, I assume. Dr. Stevenson stands at the front wall of the cell. D-1003 walks up to SCP-9051. D-1003 unscrews the cap. SCP-9051-A manifests in its new form and swiftly moves towards D-1003. D-1003 turns around, but Dr. Stevenson motions for them to stay. After 1 minute, SCP-9051-A stabs at D-1003 with its tentacles. D-1003 rolls out of the way of one, but is terminated quickly by another. Dr. Stevenson writes something down on a small notepad and leaves the cell. Video footage on May 10th. Dr. Stevenson and 2 security officers enter the cell of SCP-9051. The 2 security officers, here designated as Officer 1 and 2, presumably at Dr. Stevenson's request, take out batons. Dr. Stevenson stands at the front wall of the cell. Officer 1 walks up to and unscrews the cap of SCP-9051. SCP-9051-A manifests and swiftly moves towards the security officers. Officer 2 swings at one of SCP-9051-A's tentacles with their baton. It cannot pass through the tentacle. After 1 minute, SCP-9051-A terminates the 2 officers with its tentacles. Dr. Stevenson writes something down on a small notepad and leaves the cell looking visibly excited. Video footage of May 13th. Dr. Stevenson and Dr. Marcus enter the cell of SCP-9051. They look both visibly agitated. The two stand in the cell of SCP-9051, presumably arguing for 10 minutes. Dr. Stevenson throws her hands up wildly and points to her name tag several times in these 10 minutes. Dr. Marcus points out the door to where security officers are standing several times in these 10 minutes. Dr. Marcus is also seen mouthing the words "breaking" and "uncalled for" several times. After 5 more minutes of silence, Dr. Stevenson storms out, and Dr. Marcus follows. Video footage of May 16th. Dr. Marcus enters the cell of SCP-9051. He goes and unscrews the cap of SCP-9051. SCP-9051-A manifests. Dr. Marcus makes no movements of resistance. SCP-9051-A swiftly terminates Dr. Marcus and its tentacles, or with its tentacles, after 1 minute. Ruh-roh. Iteration 3. Wait. Goodbye, Kaylee Stevenson. SCP-9051, Object Class Neutralized. Special Containment Procedures. There are no containment procedures necessary to stop the reemergence of SCP-9051, as SCP-9051-A has voluntarily agreed to or 9051-1? Yeah. Has voluntarily agreed to stay away from the Foundation. Description: SCP-9051 was an ontokinetic mind-altering phenomenon generated between 2 parts, SCP-9051-1 and -2. SCP-9051-1 is Dr. Kaylee Stevenson, a 40-year-old Caucasian female and former senior researcher of Site-99, I think that's 199, before her resignation on May 21st, 2010. SCP-9051-2 was a 1-ounce bottle containing a fluid identical to non-anomalous shampoo. The object exhibited evolving conjuration effects that manifested coinciding with the dates of SCP-9051-1's promotions through different Foundation staff positions. SCP-9051-2 was originally designated as Anomalous Item 1801 for Iteration 9051-0, and then as SCP-9051 for Iterations -1 and -2. The fluid contained within SCP-9051-2 is hypothesized to have completely disconnected my OBS streaming. Ruh-roh. Just hold on a little itty-bitty minute here. Goodness gravens. Good thing I'm recording. Author of the article is going to get several write-ups from the Ethics Committee. And we're back! Luckily, I am recording this at the same time, so I can have a full VOD to upload. Author of the article is going to get several write-ups from the Ethics Committee. Let's see. I don't know exactly where I cut off, but I just finished this paragraph. The fluid contained within SCP-9051-2 is hypothesized to have drastically affected SCP-9051-1's mental state in regards to promotion. When confronted with the topic of promotion, SCP-9051-1 exhibited behaviors that were increasingly more agitated and childlike. This mental effect ceased on May 16, 2010, coinciding with the termination of Site Containment Wing Head Dr. Jacob Marcus by an entity manifested from SCP-9051-2. SCP-9051-1 has been amnesticized and permanently disavowed from the Foundation. SCP-9051-2 now presents no anomalous effects. Diary entry, May 20th, 2010. It wasn't fair. It just wasn't fair. Why did the anomaly have to hurt him? He actually liked me. He actually helped me go far. No. He was the one who promoted me all that time and got me fired. He got himself killed. Why was nothing fair to me at that dang place? I'm never going back. Womp womp womp. Well, double check your shampoo bottles, y'all. Okay. Series 9, and we are disconnected again. Well, I will take a moment to... And we're back! Sheesh. Okay. I'm now looking through, Series 9. Let's see. 8980? Ergophobia without regards. Let's take a look at the content warnings first. Well, this is fancy. Clearance 3 EC plus only. Ongoing priority medium. Ethics Committee case file. The following file is undergoing active Ethics Committee investigation for violation of the SCP Foundation's Code of Conduct. Information contained therein may not accurately reflect reality, and this document should not be considered a reliable source. Accessibility mode? This document has been annotated by a qualified panel of Ethics Committee review specialists for inaccuracy. Oh, here's a content warning. Please note that this article contains extremely sensitive material. Viewer discretion is heavily advised. The full list of sensitive topics, which necessitates spoiling some topics that will come up, is as follows. Explicit and implicit misogyny. In bold. Prolonged institutional and psychological abuse. Severe psychological trauma and torture. Institutional and personal gaslighting. Physical, clinical, and institutional violence. Institutional neglect and prolonged isolation. Sexual assault implications and analogies. Forced drug injection and abuse. And mentions of sexual acts and suicide. Please ensure you are emotionally and physically capable of reading the article before proceeding. There's an in-universe content warning mid-article that marks when more serious themes become increasingly prominent in the story. This article is a work of fiction, and resemblance of any character to any real-life persons are purely coincidental. This article is, nonetheless, based on several true stories. With a rating of 1225, like, in spite of all that shit, clearly there's some good shit in here. But it seems a bit heavy for stream, so I'll probably read that in my own time. Delta runes. Let's see. Some of these, some of these don't seem to be properly linked. Howling Faces hiding places. When dreams come true. Let's see here. Thanatology starts with death. Are you ready, kids? Nice grammar, bro. Shoe girl pills. I think I read that one before. I mean, I did, but specifically on stream. Mickey Mouse from Steamboat Willie, unaffiliated with Walt Disney Company. The screaming, going halvesies. The human resource. A nice old lady. Kokiri no Akuma. Hypnagogia. SCP Panorama. Traumatophobia. Better them than us. Escatophobia, the only way out. Ronald Reagan's knife? What? Rakakuni! I get it, I get it. Autophobia, string section. Eel spawner. Life's got you down. I'm with stupid. Magic for liars. Legend of the Huckmucker. Phobophobia, the only thing to fear. Yeah, let's try this one. 8066. Wait. 2006. Content warning. Unreality, gaslighting, isolation, home invasion, needles, stalking, violence, body horror, gore, and cannibalism. Well... I know we were, definitely looking for, some creepier ones, so... Yeah, let's go with this one. But SCP-2006, that's... What does that link to? Oh... Right. This guy. I know this guy. Oh, so I bet... Oh well. If y'all want context for SCP-2006, the summary is basically like it's an entity that manifests as like humanity's, like collective humanity's like greatest fear, but it has a deep misunderstanding of what humans are actually afraid of. So its current form is that of like a cheesy B-movie robot monster, but you know, it's important to actually act like deathly afraid of that shit, so that way like it doesn't manifest as anything actually bad or horrible. Which, given what's going on here, I have a suspicion things are kind of taking a turn. Anyway, SCP-2006, object class was Keter, but now neutralized. Special containment procedures. In interest of maintaining its veracity, this file may only be edited by individuals with level 5 8066 clearance. SCP-2006 is to be held in a standard humanoid containment cell. To prevent further psychological decline, it may only interact with level 5 8066 personnel and is to be given access to entertainment media. Barring a recently developed antipathy for the horror genre, SCP-2006 has not expressed any particular media preferences. Description: Archived. SCP-2006 is an anomalous spherical entity with the capability to alter its body's shape, size, and composition with no known limits. Its stated goal is to evoke fear and dread in as many humans as possible, though its conception of fear has been heavily influenced by classic horror and science fiction films, significantly limiting the scope of its desires. Maintaining this conception has been deemed crucial for its continued containment. Before I go on, real quick, it seems like these disconnects are gonna be a consistent problem for some reason. I couldn't even begin to guess why. But for the sake of my recorded VOD, you know, if I'm going to, or if I get a disconnect and I'm in the middle of reading something, I'm just going to continue reading it, even if all y'all tuning into the stream might be missing some bits. I'm really sorry, but I want to maintain some level of cohesion without having to constantly stop like every 15 minutes or so. 15 minutes, more like 5 at this rate. Anyway. Description: SCP-2006 is a humanoid entity with the appearance of a human woman in her mid to late 30s. Following Incident 8066.2, it does not appear to possess any anomalous attributes. Incident 8066.2. On September 3rd, 2024, at 2:01 a.m., several discrete instances of anomalous phenomena simultaneously took place across Site-118. Of such phenomena, the following occurred within SCP-2006's containment cell. Location: Gamma Wing, Containment Cell 506. 2 o'clock. SCP-2006 sits in its chair, watching the 1959 horror film The Tingler for the 6th time in a row, while assuming the form of the Gill Man from 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon. It mumbles softly to itself. 2:01. SCP-2006's cell shakes slightly, and its lights briefly dim. A distant rumbling sound is faintly audible. SCP-2006 looks up, and the camera feed cuts out. 2:03. Site-118 security system receives 2 frames of video in immediate succession. Frame 1. SCP-2006's cell is dark, lit only by the television screen set to static. The chair has been shattered. A humanoid figure with indistinct features is huddled in the far corner of the room. A second figure is hanging upside down from the ceiling over the screen. Frame 2. SCP-2006's cell is even darker. The frame is solid black, save for the section featured in the attached image. So there's like a little hand, arm reaching out. 2:05. The cell's camera feed is re-established. SCP-2006, now in human form and sitting in a still intact chair, continues to watch the film as though nothing has happened. 2:21. The Tingler concludes. SCP-2006 becomes newly aware of its altered form. It appears confused and upset by this development, being seemingly unable to change its shape. 2:29. SCP-2006 starts to weep. Here we have an interview SCP-2006, and Dr. Randall Owings. Okay. SCP-2006 is slumped in its chair, staring at nothing. Its television is paused midway through the 1947 film Scared to Death. When Dr. Owings enters the cell, it jerks out of its stupor. Miss Joe, you're finally You're not Miss Joe. My name is Dr. Owings. I'll be performing your interviews for the time being while Researcher Lowe is indisposed. Oh, you're Mr. Randy. Miss Joe told me about you. Please, call me Dr. Owings. Okay. Is Miss Joe sick? I've never been left alone this long before. Researcher Lowe is fine. Everyone's fine. SCP nods slowly. I think I might be sick. Can you tell me why? I haven't been able to change the way I look for days. I've been stuck looking like some lady, not a monster lady, like a Dracula's daughter or a Bride of Frankenstein or anything. It's awful. Is that why you haven't done anything to frighten me? I'll admit I've been on tenterhooks ever since I walked in. I was sure you were about to do something truly blood-curdling, like sneaking up behind you and shouting boo. Dr. Owings feigns a frightened shiver. Yes, like that. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. SCP shrugs. My heart's just not in it anymore, I guess. Have you noticed anything else while you've been sick? Any strange sensations? When you feel shivery and hot and cold and like you want to hide under the bed, is that a sensation? That sounds like fear. Are you scared, SCP-2006? Yes, I think so. Do you know why? Silence. I'm scared of whatever did this to me. And I'm scared it's just getting started. Refer to attached documentation for further information regarding associated anomalous phenomena. Onwards we go. I assume this is the same content warning. SCP-8066. Object Class, Skotos. Research and documentation of the item is still in progress or severely lacking. Special Containment Procedures. In interest of maintaining its veracity, this file may only be edited by individuals with Level 5 clearance. Personnel must possess complete immunity to SCP-8066's anti-memetic effects to be assigned Level 5 clearance, presently only Dr. Randall Owings. Dr. Owings is to record all experienced SCP-8066 events to the best of his ability. SCP-8066's existence is to be made known to his colleagues by any means necessary. Description: SCP-8066 is the collective designation for anomalous phenomena surrounding Dr. Randall Owings, Director of Site-118 and the Department of Phobology. The cause of SCP-8066 is presently unknown. Incident 8066.1. Dr. Owings and Deputy Site Director Verity Price are walking through the Keter containment section of Site-118's Gamma Wing. Price is holding a clipboard and a pen, writing as she goes. How prepared are we for Halloween this year? It's difficult to say. Fear exists within the unknown and the unexpected. It cannot be anticipated. And fearful things flock to this season like maggots to a corpse. That leads to a hub. Possibly to a cannon? Morbid. Morbid. Dr. Owings and Price passed the door to containment cell 605. But accurate. Has nomenclature sent you the report yet? Department of Nomenclature. Foundation Department tasked with the study and containment of name-affecting anomalies, such as the woods that spurn description. Oh. My favorite. Sort of. Their newest info hazard is continuing to make communication difficult. Wonderful. I take it Dr. Japers at Site 08 is still ignoring our emails? SCP-4000. Yeah. Dr. Owings and Price passed the door to containment cell 607. Seems to be. I think we should... Dr. Owings trails off and stops, then looks behind him. Dr. Owings? We haven't had any layout shifts recently, have we? Site 118 is housed within labyrinths beneath the Sonoran Desert, which sporadically shifts parts of its internal structure. Sensors haven't picked up any activity since July. Then where did SCP-106's cell go? Oh? Huh? Dr. Owings points. The door to containment cell 606 is missing. I don't follow. Are you feeling alright, Randall? Dr. Owings turns back to stare coldly at Price. That's Dr. Owings, Deputy Director. Are you really telling me you don't know what SCP-106 is? Don't know what? SCP-106. The teleporting, matter-corroding mass murderer? We used SCP-2006 to trap it here back in 1961. Not ringing any bells? As Dr. Owings speaks, Price's eyes glaze over. Her hands tighten on the clipboard, knuckling white, then relax. I'm sorry, I spaced out for a moment there. You were saying something about Halloween preparations? After determining that Price was no longer capable of remembering SCP-106, Dr. Owings contacted Agent Benedict Lugosi, Site 118's Chief of Security, requesting that he check Cell 606's internal camera feed. Upon hearing about SCP-106, Agent Lugosi began displaying confusion and short-term memory loss similar to that experienced by Price. Realizing that communication regarding SCP-106 was currently untenable, Dr. Owings traveled to his office and used his security clearance to directly access the Cell 606's internal feed from his computer. All recorded footage prior to September 1st, 2024 appears to have been deleted prematurely due to a system error. All footage after this point is uniform. SCP-106's container is nowhere in sight. The room is clean and white, devoid of corrosion or the black mucus-like substance that typically forms in the anomaly's immediate presence. The door is missing. SCP-106 is lying in the center of the room, curled into the fetal position. It is whimpering quietly and its eyes are tightly squeezed shut. Notes: I currently believe that SCP-8066 is some kind of roaming anti-meme that came into contact with SCP-106. Even the new site AIC we recently installed appears to be affected by it, so I've had to do the video log transcripts by hand. My immunity to SCP-8066, conversely, is possibly born to my unusually high CRV, or robust mental defenses are a requirement for mental defenses are a requirement for leading the phobology department, and the monastic supplements they give all high-clearance personnel. I'll be sending this document to... blank. Oh, the Anti-Memetics Division. To see if a cure for SCP-8066's effects can be synthesized quickly. If SCP-106's emotional state returns to baseline while it's still anti-memetic, we'll have no defense against it. Incident 8066.2. On September 3rd, 2024 at 2:01 a.m., several discrete instances of anomalous phenomena simultaneously took place across Site-118. 2-1. Site-118's Delta Wing experiences minor tremors and a distant rumbling sound for 14 seconds. Neither are experienced by the other wings. -2. Approximately 100 kilograms of desiccated snake skins slide out of various air vents around Beta Wing. -3. The corpse of an unidentified male manifests beneath Dr. Owing's desk in Gamma Wing. It vanishes 66 seconds later, though its stench lingers for several more hours. And -4. SCP-2006 loses all anomalous attributes. Notes. At first, I assumed these phenomena were unrelated to SCP-8066. After all, in places like Site-118, unexplainable things happen all the time. SCP-3999. Then I tried to talk about getting the snakeskins cleaned up and found that nobody could understand me, and that was when I realized that SCP-8066 may be a significantly larger problem than initially estimated. Incident 8066.3. On September 6, 2024, Dr. Owings departed from Site-118 with the intention of picking up a number of personal effects from his house, so that he could more easily live on-site until the issue of SCP-8066 had been resolved. Upon reaching his house, Dr. Owings discovered that the front door had been forced open and left ajar. As several similar break-ins had recently occurred in the area, Dr. Owings initially believed that the incident was non-anomalous in nature and called local authorities to report the crime. Call begins. I'd like to report a break-in. Is the crime currently in progress? No, they were long gone when I got here. Can you give me the location of the break-in? 55 Englewood Drive. They messed the place up pretty bad. Broke some of the back windows, tipped the TV over even. Shit, what is that? Are you currently in a safe place? Yes, I'm safe, just... I think they cut all the faces out of the framed photographs in my house. It's unsettling. I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Owings. It's Mr. Owings? You never asked for my name. You never asked for my name. How do you know my name? The sound of a loud, muffled thump from upstairs. We'll be with you shortly. Rapid thumping as something quickly descends the stairs. Oh, fuck. That's kind of terrifying. Dr. Owings fled the premises before he could come into contact with the source of the noise. Subsequently, an attempted report to the Foundation revealed that this anomalous event was a manifestation of SCP-8066. Notes. I've been making too many assumptions. Here, I thought the common thread with SCP-8066 was Site-118, that it was lurking in its halls or attempting to hold sway over them, and I happened to be psychologically resistant enough to notice. But it's not that at all. It didn't just follow me home. It was waiting for me. SCP-8066 might only be affecting the site because I'm there. The common thread is myself. Why? Incident 8066.4. Starting on September 13th, 2024 at 4:04 p.m., Site-118 has begun experiencing irregular blackouts in seemingly random sections of the complex. The extent of these blackouts is unclear, as Site-118's structure is vast, and only Dr. Owings is currently capable of reporting them. In the event that a blackout prevents exit from the complex, a portable generator and a large supply of food and water have been stored in Dr. Owings' office. Notes. When I was a child, I was afraid of the dark. This was somewhat problematic. as my parents worked long nights, often leaving me to shut the lights off when it was time for bed. I was convinced then that if I lingered in the dark for even a moment, some terrible creature skulking within it would be upon me. It became a ritual of some kind. Each night, I would turn off the lights, then rush up the stairs as quickly as I could to hurl myself into bed, certain that the monster's grasping claws were only inches away. Each blackout feels like that to me, but now there's nowhere to run. Incident 8066.5. Verity Price's appearance has been subtly changing over time. Every time I look at her, something's slightly changed. Her hair is slightly lighter shade, or her nose is a little smaller, or her glasses are of a marginally different make. SCP so strong it caused a blackout of the stream. Hi RNG! That's been a consistent issue tonight. Sadly. However, no SCP could ever cease the summoning of the stream frog. Thankfully, I'm also recording at the same time that I'm streaming, so the full VOD will be good to upload on the YouTube channel in due time, when this is all over. Anyway. It's only been 15 days since this all started, and she already looks like an entirely different person. I wouldn't know if it was her if it wasn't for everyone else recognizing her like nothing was wrong. Hello from the other side! I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm gonna be looking through old photos of the rest of the staff to see if anyone else has changed, and I'm locking access to this page from anyone without 8066/5 clearance. Notes. Choosing to disregard Foundation documentation guidelines for the time being. It isn't worth the effort when I'm the only one reading. Stream cording, yeah. Incident 8066.6. At some point in the afternoon of September 19th, I was in the front seat of my car in the site's parking lot. I had no intention of driving anywhere. It's a good hour-and-a-half trip to reach anything from Site 118, as deep as we are in the Sonoran Desert. More and more of my colleagues were becoming unrecognizable, and I needed a few moments alone. I needed to be able to stop pretending for a second. I didn't intend to stay there for longer than the duration of a lunch break, but I haven't been sleeping well recently, and I must have passed out the moment I started relaxing. When I woke, it had become night, and there was a body strapped into the passenger seat beside me. In the gloom, I couldn't make out much of its features. All that stood out was the cloudy whites of its eyes, and its lolling head, staring. There were other things outside of the car, too. Shadowy, vaguely humanoid shapes were passing between the cars in the parking lot, softly hissing like gas leaks. When one passed right by me, I could feel a chill emanating off of it like a walking freezer. I fled, of course, the moment I found an unbroken path from the car to the site's entrance. I may have been chased, or I may not. I was too preoccupied with running and scared out of my mind to get a proper sense of my surrounds. I raced to the elevator, only slowing down to flash my identification to the guard at the front door. When the door shut and it started to descend, I nearly collapsed. I was so overwrought at the time that I only noticed as I was nearing my stop. The button for the ground floor, on the surface, was missing. It had disappeared from all of the elevators, and the stairwells were gone entirely. Now there really is nowhere to run. It's eerie. Notes. Personnel seem particularly uneasy since Incident 8066.6. Nobody has talked about it, or done anything to try to fix the situation. but I'm pretty sure that there's been a psychological impact. Could it be possible that SCP-8066 was never anti-memetic at all? It might be something memetic instead, in effect tied to the anomaly on a conceptual level. Perhaps anyone aware of it becomes unable to say or do anything that acknowledges its existence. Unable or too afraid. Incident 8066.7. As of September 23rd, the situation within Site-118 has worsened significantly. The ongoing blackouts are no longer temporary affairs. Large swaths of the complex have ceased operation entirely. Though heat and air circulation on my floor is still currently functional, we've lost all light, and I've only been able to use my computer for hooking up to the portable generator. Or by hooking it up. I've seen things too, when some of the security cameras still worked. Shadows like from the parking lot, but more agitated, with sharper, flickering edges. I can hear them when they pass by my office, scraping air like radio static. Notes. I don't know what happened to the anomalies we were containing here. Presumably nothing's left to keep them caged, but I haven't heard or seen anything of them. I'm not sure if that's a comfort or not. I want to go home. Incident 8066.8. September 28th, 2024. I accidentally cut my arm open, trying to open the packaging on some rations. I thought I'd start bleeding, but I didn't. Nothing was there. It's just empty inside. Why is it empty inside? Notes. Why doesn't it hurt? Incident 8066.9. Not available. Notes. I've had a lot of time to think, trapped in my office. There isn't much else to do when you're lying in the dark, waiting to die. I've been thinking about useless things mostly, looping through the same thoughts over and over, worrying at them like a rotting tooth. I've been thinking about the departments here, phobology and counter-ontokinetics and nomenclature, names that most people wouldn't recognize. And names are so important in a place like this. Names have power. It's why I've always been so particular about titles, being referred to as Dr. Owings instead of Mr. Owings, or just Randall. Site-118 is a place where names have a tangible weight, and I am, or I was, the man that controls it. The director of Site-118 cannot allow himself to be named so easily, not without consequence. My colleagues all knew this. So how did SCP-2006 ever learn my first name? Auto-transcription initiated. January 10th, 2024. Dr. Owings' office. Dr. Owings is sitting at his desk, his face lit by only the monitor of his desktop. He is typing, then stops. What the? Dr. Owings looks up at the office's security camera, then back down at the monitor. Is this transcribing this room's security feed in real time? Something thumps on the door to the office, startling Dr. Owings. It thumps again, and again, and again. He wants to move, but he cannot. He is frozen by fear. He feels as though a great hand is pressing down on his chest, rooting him to the floor. The door slowly creaks open. Dr. Owings can't see anything beyond the threshold. Hello, Randy. Dr. Owings in the chair starts sinking through the floor. He barely notices. He can't take his eyes off the black pit of the door. 2006? Is that you? Quiet laughter. Something ripples in the dark. It is. It was. Dr. Owings shivers. He's sunk into the floor down to his waist. What? Just some old skin it left behind. It shed me when it became too big for a body. Terrible comprehension begins to dawn in Dr. Owings' eyes. His breast shudders. The floor is midway up his chest. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God, no. It's too big to see now. But I can see. I can show you. No. No, 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 no. Please. Oh, God, please. His mouth sinks below the surface, silencing his pleas. Shh. It's okay if you're afraid. We'll look together. Oh, there's more? Oh my goodness. Whoa. SCP-2006. In containment. What am I even looking at? SCP-2006. Object class. Not Keter, not neutralized. Megiddo. It's 2:30 late. Special containment procedures. All subjects are to stay in their boxes. All boxes and things that are not boxes are to be held very close. Description. SCP-2006 is. SCP, hey now, you're a rock star. 2006. SCP-2006 is an anomalous spherical entity. SCP-2006 is holding a box. SCP-2006 is listening closely. SCP-2006 is Keter. SCP-2006 is a low-quality horror or science fiction movie. SCP-2006 is expressing fear and surprise. SCP-2006 is the mighty Ro-Man. SCP-2006 is the monster from the Black Lagoon. SCP-2006 is the Bride of Frankenstein. SCP-2006 is Vincent Price. SCP-2006 is Harlan Ellison. SCP-2006 is a law of nature. SCP-2006 is afraid. SCP-2006 is already here. SCP-2006 is. Deputy Site Director Verity Price. Box Site-118. Verity Price is finishing an expense report in her cramped little office when Randall Owings appears in her doorway and says, "Come here, I need to show you something." Verity, or no, that was Owings. "Come here, I need to show you something." Verity barely glances up. "Is it important? I need to get this finished before midnight." "Come here," he repeats and drags himself into the office, visibly limping. Has he hurt his leg? Is he drunk? His speech has a slurred quality, like he's not sure how to form the syllables. In the gloom of her office, she can barely make out his expression. "I need to show you something." "Dr. Owings?" Verity asks, mouth going dry. He lurches forward, looming like a horrible monument, features slack. "Randall? What's this about?" "Come here." Owings enters the lamplight and she finally sees. He doesn't have any eyes. His sockets are empty pits. Looking into them, she feels a wave of nausea and vertigo, like she's about to fall in. He grabs her by the arm, fingers digging in painfully. "I need to show you something." On sudden, terrified impulse, Verity takes the lamp with her other hand and slams it into the side of his head. There's barely any resistance. The left hemisphere of his head caves in like papier-mâché, like it's just skin with nothing inside it. He's just skin. Owing's grip does not loosen.
Come here. I need to show you something.
Suddenly, more people are flooding into the office. Agent Lugosi and Dr. Loof and intern Zuko and others besides, each eyeless and grasping, repeating the same horrible demand. When they force her to the ground and start the laborious process of hollowing her out, she can still hear it.
I need to show you something. I need to show you something. I need to show you something. Come here. Come and see.
Subject: Researcher Joe Lowe. Box: Labyrinth. Through an impossible tangle of corridors and passageways, Joe Lowe is running. Something is chasing her. She can't see it, but she can feel its rasping breath on the back of her neck, only a hand's breadth behind her. Her lungs burn, her legs ache. As she runs, the walls change. Smooth beryllium bronze gives way to rusting iron, which turns to concrete, then unhewn stone. The walls close in, narrowing, and she is forced to press herself through thinner and thinner gaps, scraping away layers of skin with each convolution. And still she pushes forward. She has no other choice. The corridors narrow yet further, and now the crack of bone is heard as the researcher shoves herself through spaces that a human body should not be able to fill. Skin shreds and muscles rupture, and Joe wishes, in vain, to scream. SCP-106. Box: A clean and lovely place. There's an elderly janitor. His back is stooped, and his ashen skin is withered, and his uniform is so filthy as to be nearly black. Dark Icarus fluid drips from his nostrils to tarnish the pristine white tiles beneath his frayed boots. The overseer says, "Wipe that up," and he does. The overseer says, "Clean the bathrooms," and he obeys, even as his touch dissolves the pipes of the toilets, sending torrents of contaminated water across the floor. The overseer says, "Be happy," and he smiles. He is happy. Whoop! I've suddenly started streaming. That was weird. Seems like it momentarily lost my stream key for a second there. That was like an even harder disconnect. And immediately dropping frames, 0 kilobytes per second. But thankfully I'm still recording! Hello, YouTube VOD watchers! Thank you for popping by and listening to the story. Anyway, the overseer says, "Be happy," and he smiles. He is happy. The clean place overflows with a pure, searing light that he can see even when he presses his palms over his eyes. There are 1,000 rooms to tend to, and each room crowds with colorless people. They are loud and smiling, with lacquered teeth, and the light passes through them like cold wind. The overseer says, "Be happy," and the old man bites clean through his lower lip with the force of his grin. Subject: Dr. Eugene Japers. Box: The Desecrated Sanctuary. The thing that calls itself Eugene Japers wakes up, lashed to a long table in the forest where singing is no longer heard. There are figures crowded around the table, chattering to one another excitedly and jostling for space, like guests at a fantastic feast. Eugene opens his mouth to... what? Negotiate? Beg for mercy? But no words come out. Instead, a name crawls up his throat and out of his mouth, glistening and beetle-winged. The host of the party plucks the name from his swollen lips and bites down on it, chewing leisurely. "How does it taste?" asks a guest, visibly drooling. "It's tart," says the host. "Quite tart. I think I'll try another." It wipes its mouth with its sleeve, smearing name juice. "Fetch me a blade." Someone passes the host a chipped cleaver. Holding the dull blade up to the light, it meets Eugene's eyes for the first time and grins like they're sharing a private joke. "What do you think the rest will taste like?" it asks. Then it reaches down and it cuts off Eugene's left index finger. "We're doing scary stories tonight? How exciting!" "Yeah! Welcome, Astra." Unfortunately, I've been having a series of disconnections on stream, but I'm nevertheless also recording the footage, so at least the VOD will be intact for a YouTube upload. Names, one by one, begin to trickle out of the newly formed stump. Eugene opens his mouth to cry out in pain, but no sound comes. Instead, even more names come scrabbling up his throat, fluttering and ink-stained. The guests take this as their cue to eat, each grasping for a name, as the host continues to cut away at Eugene's hand. Thunk. Middle finger. Thunk. Ring finger. Thunk. Pinky. Thunk. Thumb. Eugene breathes heavily, sodden with sweat. Names dribble out of the corner of his mouth. Someone is saying something, but the words haze together. The pain is too much. He cannot bear it. The host reaches for his right hand. Subject: Dr. Randall Owings. Box: home. There is a box at the center of the universe, and it is full of meat. Randall Owings suspends from the ceiling like a butchered animal, dangling on his own glistening cords. His head lolls. The air swelters. Everything reeks of iron and bile. Huge veins that are corroded pipes that are filth-streaked glass tubes run along every possible surface, all coming to meet at some pulsating nexus above Randall's head, just beyond his range of vision. When he squints, he can see something moving beneath the skin of the vein pipes, shapeless and terrible. Fear in its most undiluted form. Something touches the crown of his skull and travels downward. A pair of serpents that are hypodermic needles that are long, wormy tendrils. When they reach the edge of his brow, they turn and, rearing back, plunge into his eyes. Randall shivers and seizes like a man electrocuted, mouth gaping without sound. The things in his head caress his optical nerve and impossible colors flash across his non-vision. He feels as though magma is bubbling behind his temples, threatening to burst through. Then the needles sink into both hemispheres of his brain, and he sees. Every box opens. Every box opens. Every box opens. Every box opens. Reality is made of intimate tortures, and he sees them all, individually and at once. It is terror without release, suffering without death, a nightmare without end. Tears stream down his face. Something touches his cheek, very gently. Are you scared, Randy? Randall starts to scream, and the world screams with him. Damn! That was great! Man, this one was awesome! Great shit. Bravo. Let's see, what was it even labeled again? What was the name of it? Phobophobia, the only thing to fear. Oh, that's great shit. Oh, I'm glad I picked that one. Whew. That even gave me like little like little spine tingles here and there. Okay. Moving on to Series 8. Oh, the loser! I remember the loser. I don't remember if I read it on stream. But I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, SCP-7000, I vaguely remember that one. Oh, Prince with 1,000 Enemies. Naturally, I read that one. Let's see here. The girl with the sun in her head? Misfortune? That one's in Hebrew, so I don't even know how to read it. D is for dermatology. Megawana? Big atmosphere planetary GF? How much you want to bet GF is not what we all think it is? Alex Thorley gets a pussy? Damn. Microbes on strike? Wrath of a Fae. Advertisements? Horse maneuvers? Tray panning for dummies? Bullet hell? Well, I'm obligated to check out this one now. Bullet hell. Oh, this is really short. And I know my drums alarm is just about to go off. So maybe it's for the best. Actually, I'm gonna wait a moment. I'm gonna let the alarm go off. I brought up a big bag of barbecue potato chips. There it goes. I'm not gonna eat them right now, but I have them on hand for later. Later. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. A rating of 192. Not too shabby. Ah, fruity. Okay. SCP-7290. Object Class: Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Until a method of physically containing SCP-7290 can be devised, hidden sensor arrays are to monitor for SCP-7290 manifestations. Local personnel are to deploy amnestics to SCP-7290-A and any witnesses and clean the area if needed. Description: SCP-7290 are 9-meter-long translucent spectral appendages resembling distended human hands with 6 fingers. SCP-7290 appear near ammunition stores and factories at unpredictable intervals during the night, abducting a lone human, hereafter SCP-7290-A, before ascending and disappearing. SCP-7290-A returns alone after a period between 52 seconds and 4 minutes and immediately falls to the ground. In approximately 80% of cases, SCP-7290-A is recovered with only dizziness and minor injuries from the fall. All instances report the sensation of having been placed within a cold, dark metal tube by SCP-7290 and spun rapidly. Some instances also report mechanical clicking noises, distant incoherent voices, and the odor of alcohol. In the remaining cases, SCP-7290-A abruptly remanifests in a severely mangled state accompanied by a loud gunshot sound and several hundred liters of non-humanoid viscera and bone. Traces of gunshot residue are also identified. One unique case resulted in an unharmed SCP-7290-A instance despite a gunshot occurring in its vicinity. However, the gunshot had a significantly lower volume. Upon debriefing, the instance claimed to briefly glimpse large spectral humanoids after its removal from the metal tube. These humanoids, whose sizes and description are consistent with SCP-7290, allegedly vocalized and discarded a metallic handheld object. So... human bullets? Interesting. I suppose that was my Series 8 read off, so on to Series 7. The Serpent, the Moose, and the Wanderer's Library. I remember that one. Didn't I read that one on stream? Wonder why it's not highlighted or darkened to indicate that I read it. A forest, a giant sponge, and a lot of axolotls. Have you ever had an enlightened experience in a ball pit? King Rathius Blondus the 18th, bearer of pestilence and lord of all rodents. Cartoon Network. It's no better to be safe than sorry. Take on me, take me on. I'll be gone in a day or two. Oh, what's going on there? Bibliophobia. Another phobia. I don't know if it's by the same person or even part of the same canon, but eh. Guilty Conscience. I think I might have read this one on my own, and I actually made a little illustration of it. Oh my god, Asuka Evangelion! Saturday evening coffee? Damn, I'm one day off. Secure us, contain us, protect us. Whoa. That's a lot of Harbinger 2s. I'd like to see the stream frogs. Yeah. There's not a whole lot of room left on the top of the frog tower, so I suppose you'll be the lucky one to be at the very tippy top for tonight. I'm kind of looking at Toothquake. I'm curious of this one. Okay. Hey! We love them bicolors. Yeah. Okay. SCP-6285. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures. A disinformation campaign targeting the White Cliffs of Dover is to be undertaken by Foundation officials embedded within geological agencies and news organizations. The public explanation for the cliff face erosion is that the cliffs are struggling under hydraulic erosion. Public health guidance is also to advise a 500-meter exclusion zone to the sea-facing edge of the cliffs under reasoning of risk of rockfall and rough waters. Damage to the White Cliffs of Dover is to be repaired by filling the holes with facsimile material. Discoloration is to be treated by bleaching and hydrogen peroxide. Or bleaching with hydrogen peroxide. Currently the Foundation is using resin-modified glass ionomer cement. However, research is ongoing into other possible materials. Description: SCP-6285 is an anomalous population of Streptococcus mutans and Lactobacillus bacteria. SCP-6285 is not found in a host's saliva. Rather, the primary habitat of SCP-6285 is in high salinity droplets on the White Cliffs of Dover in southeast England and in the surrounding sea, although small populations have been found on other coastline cliff ranges. SCP-6285 instances additionally contain elevated levels of uranium-235. These have allowed Foundation scientists to date SCP-6285 instances as far back as 3.5 billion years. SCP-6285 instances feed on various flora and fauna found on the cliffs and in the surrounding area. During the feeding process, they ferment the sugars found within their food, a process which releases large amounts of lactic acid. This results in the gradual but significant erosion of the cliff face. Over a year, this amounts to approximately 22 centimeters to 30 centimeters of erosion, typically concentrated in small areas. This rate has been accelerating in recent years. Addendum 6285-1. Okay, so this is British dating. So, on December 7th, 2021, a diving team researching undersea geology discovered previously undocumented undersea cliffs just off the French coast in the English Channel. Upon further investigation, multiple populations of SCP-6285 were found residing on the cliff face. Additionally, the cliff line was approximately the same shape and size as the White Cliffs of Dover. Addendum 2. Between October 20th, 2022 and June 8th, 2023, Foundation teams noticed increased concentrations of SCP-6285 instances in an area of around 300 by 110 meter locations along the White Cliffs of Dover, approximately 5 kilometers from the westernmost end of the cliffs. Additionally, increased discoloration and erosion of the cliffs was noted up to a rate of 5 meters a year. Foundation efforts to halt this were ineffective. On September 27, 2023, an earthquake measuring 7 MW, I'm not sure how to read that, was detected in the English Channel. An evacuation of both the English and French coasts along the channel was conducted, and subsequently a tsunami wave measuring 20 meters high hit both coasts. Estimated death toll was 5,000 across both coastlines, with a further 60,000 injured. Sheesh. Addendum 3. On January 10th, 2024, a Foundation research ship working on SCP-6285 in the English Channel disappeared from radar and contact was lost. Simultaneously, an earthquake measuring 9 MW was detected in the English Channel. Estimated death toll was 8,000 across both coastlines, with a further 100,000 injured. Eyewitnesses on the coast claimed that the channel appeared to vanish for a moment. Meanwhile, a number of ship workers in the channel at the time claimed to witness a momentary blackout of the sky. Searches for the lost ship are ongoing. Investigations into possible psychoactive effects of SCP-6285 are ongoing. Weird. Okay, well, what were we on? That was Series 7, so... Series 6! Oh, and there's the same stream key error again. Got the same stream key error again. What the hell is going on? But anyway. Yet another murder monster! I love that one. It's so nice, so wholesome. Miss J's Whiz Kids Schoolhouse, I know that one. Jesus Christ Superstar. Fruit frogs. I feel like I need to scroll down a bit more. Because we keep picking the ones that are, we keep picking the ones that are a bit earlier in the list. SCP explained. Sheesh. Why 2K? So this is how democracy dies, with thunderous blobs. Death of the authors. 101 lobster friends. Holder of abnormalities. I wonder if that's like a loose, if that's meant to be a shout out to the holders. Well, now I'm curious. So let's take a look at this one. SCP-5538. Object Class. Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-5338 has been... Wait a second. 5538. 538. It is! This is a reference to the holders! Let's go! SCP-5538 has been purchased by the Foundation. Surveillance cameras have been installed inside. Security guards are to prevent unauthorized access. Description: SCP-5538 is an abandoned psychiatric facility in blank blank. A rusted Foundation insignia was discovered on the exterior gate of the complex, but no record of the site existed internally prior to the initial discovery. The primary anomaly of SCP-5538 occurs when anyone approaches the front desk and asks to visit the holder of abnormalities. This anomaly occurs regardless of whether any individual is sitting at the front desk. Upon asking to see the holder of abnormalities, a visitor will gain knowledge of how to proceed to a cell in the basement of SCP-5538. Visitors consistently report expecting to hear conversation along this path, but never actually hearing any. The destination cell is empty, but one of the walls is broken and leads to the main atrium of SCP-5538. There are 538 pedestals in the main atrium. All are empty. A heavy layer of dust covers each pedestal, although an impression of each object remains on each. Each has a distinct label, but the text on these labels has become illegible. A placard at the far end of the atrium reads, "This is what happens when they all come together." Visitors who read this placard frequently report fears of having an adverse reaction. However, no such reactions have been observed. That's nice. That's pretty great. I'm glad somebody other than me actually remembers the holders. And to think, I was actually pondering of whether to continue reading some more holder stories tonight. It was either that or this. So I'm glad we got a little bit of both. Okay, Series 5. Hey, look! SCP-4000! One of my faves, if not my top fave. In the eyes of the beholder. This one sounds vaguely familiar. Karma Chameleon. The Child, the Monster, and the Angel. Belly Flopology? Colorful pens with thematic ends. A friendly untranscribable. Bullet Farm. The Skeleton Berry? I might know what that one is. SCP Lovecraft. Sheesh. By Girls, For Girls. That's a whole series. Nature is Cool. Garfield minus Garfield. Ozymandias, King of Kings. Dr. Michaels is not in danger. Nani? Multi-timeline drifting? It's Nerf or... Only at the bottom, innit? A god for pigs. I wonder if that's another one I know about. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Bug bunnies. The changeling. I put my lettuce in the crisper and now it's sapient. Citrus vitae. 3D printed spiders, printing printed printers, printing spider printers, printing spiders, printing printed spider printers, printing spider printers, printing spider. Oh, the Yule Man, that's a pretty well-known one. There's so many options. Dead weight. Don't kill the vibe. Oh god, I forgot I had this class and the final exam is today. How about an innocent sin? You are currently viewing version 1.0.2 of this document. Level 5 classified. Object class Keter. SCP-4738. Special containment procedures. Containment of SCP-4738 relies upon the observation, enactment, and fulfillment of the Very Ritual. Blood in the Aditite language. Any deviation from the ritual will potentially result in a total breakdown of human society and the destruction of humankind in its present form. Very rituals are to be performed at Site 3 under Foundation control to uphold the covenant signed by the Madison family in 1853. occasionally referred to as SCP-4738-2 when discussed in this article. According to the consequences stipulated in the Covenant, not correctly performing the ritual will entail an LK-class species transmutation scenario. Due to the necessity of maintaining the Covenant, the Foundation has designated a select pool of officiants among researchers of at least Level 4 clearance who have been trained in propagating the specifics of the very ritual. Whenever possible, the selected participants in the very ritual shall consist of available D-Class who are practitioners of any Christian sect. If insufficient in numbers, more D-Class can be allocated to Site-3 upon request. MTF Yod 30, Iscariot's Chosen, are tasked with responding to any possible very ritual being performed outside of Foundation control. They are to liaise with embedded agents within known Neosarchic cults to monitor for evidence of veneration of SCP-4738. Sarkics, you say? Color me intrigued. In addition, Foundation assets are to engage with all religious organizations that practice transubstantiation as part of their religious observance in order to monitor for potential very rituals. When specifically interacting with congregations under the auspices of the Catholic Church, the Foundation should work in tandem with the Confraternity of St. George's Knights. The CCSG is the organ of the Catholic Church that deals with the management of anomalies classified into two types, Anomaliae Angelus, or angelic anomalies, and Anomaliae Daemonii, or demonic anomalies. Yeah. SCP-4738-1 was previously contained within the basement of the Madison Manor in Berkshire County, Massachusetts. Site-3 has been constructed around the Madison Manor to better contain SCP-4738-1. Resultant SCP-4738-1 entities are to be contained at Site-3, whereupon they will congeal together into a larger amorphous mass of organs and tissues. Neutralization of SCP-4738-1 entities is strictly forbidden under the Covenant, and attempts to neutralize SCP-4738-1, both directly and indirectly, have resulted in assailants being redacted. SCP-4738 is currently contained, was in Massachusetts, but now everywhere. Description: SCP-4738 is the designation given to an anomalous entity that was brought into the physical world by the Madison family in 1853. SCP-4738 primarily functions within a dimension above our own. The entity's dimension and our own seemingly share some overlap, allowing it to interact with the material world through auditory, olfactory, and cognitive stimuli. It currently lacks the ability to physically interact with our own dimension through its physical form, if it has one, as no physical manifestation of SCP-4738 has been recorded since its inception. However, SCP-4738 displays the ability to possess subjects that participate in very rituals. Very rituals is the designation given to rituals that superficially resemble the Eucharist within Christian teachings. The ritual can be instigated by adhering to a strict set of specific deviations to pre-existing rites of the Eucharist. During a very ritual, SCP-4738 will intercede upon the transubstantiation of the sacramental bread and wine, which will become the organic matter and blood of SCP-4738. Following the transubstantiation, the congregation will consume the organic matter of SCP-4738 and then ingest the blood. The presiding minister will begin a dirge that will always start in their native tongue with the following phrase: "She who slakes, she whom thirsts eternally, Hema Morpha, take our meek and shameful bodies into your loving embrace. May your ichor and flesh become one with our own. We, your humble servants, prostrate our weak flesh upon your altar and beseech your divine intervention. At this point, each member of the congregation, except for the presiding minister, will kneel shoulder to shoulder upon one knee whilst their hand is clutched firmly over their heart. They will then begin to meld together, forming one amorphous mass. Members on the surface of this mass will retain their features and organs. This mass entity is designated SCP 4738-1. Addendum 1. Discovery. SCP-4738 was not the primary focus of initial investigations by the Foundation. Instead, the Foundation was first made aware of the presence of SCP-4738-1 on... it's either January 3rd or March 1st, 1983, when a social worker reported that the Madison Manor smelled of rotten bodies, corpses, and musty old people smell, and alleged that they could not enter the household. They were later amnesticized by Foundation staff. The Madison family, who had first come into contact with SCP-4738 in 1853, were fully complicit with the Foundation's investigation into SCP-4738-1, which had continually grown to overrun the basement and first floor of the Madison Manor. Damn. 2 disconnects, and they were very short apart from each other. It was discovered by the Foundation that the Madison family had been rendered functionally immortal due to a covenant signed between SCP-4738, whom they identified as She Who Slakes, and the family, ensuring that they would be able to care for SCP-4738-1. The 4 family members at the time consisted of Father Madison, SCP-4738-2A, Mother Madison, 2B, Madison Jr., 2C, Madison Sr., 2D. Unbeknownst to the Foundation, there was an additional 5th member, Isabel de Madison, who had left the family sometime after 1853 when contact was made between SCP-4738 and the Madison family. Interviews were conducted by Dr. Niles between Father Madison and, upon her return, Isabel de Madison to collect information on SCP-4738. Interview transcript. January 13th, 1985. So that would make this March 1st. Okay. Participant, SCP-4738-2A. Preface. This interview took place on January 13th, 1985 between 2A, Father Madison, and field researcher Jonathan Niles. The primary focus of the interview was to ascertain the details behind the pact made between SCP-4738-2 and SCP-4738. Begin transcript. Ah! I returned back from traveling home dealing with the craziest nosebleed of my life. Oh no! Hope you're okay. I know, I've been dealing with a consistent series of disconnects this stream, so... I've been kinda having my own issues, you know? Scuffed solidarity. Okay. Good afternoon, SCP-4738-2A. I trust that you are comfortable with this arranged meeting? Niles, how many times must I tell you? Just call me Mr. Madison, or Father. Your labels perturb me deeply. Very well, Mr. Madison. I'd hope to discuss the details of the pact signed between you and this entity. Niles, Niles, Niles. We do not dwell on dead things in this household. Oh no, we do not. Quite ironic, considering that this entire room smells of rotten meat, and the fact that you have an amorphous mass of human tissue in your basement. 2A lets out a short, terse laugh that devolves into coughing. Truly it is, Niles. How many years have we two been in contact? 2 years, Mr. Madison. I'll have to ask again. I hope to discuss the pact you made with this entity. I'm okay, just got caught off guard with that one. I don't usually have nosebleeds. I think it's my body having a reaction to the fact that I've been living in a much higher elevation for a few months now, plus I got a piercing about a month ago as well. That would do it. Yep. Mr. Madison pauses for a few moments, gazing reflectively at Dr. Niles. Very well. Do settle in, for this could take a while. Wife, do go and get our guests some refreshment. There's no need for that, Mr. Madison, I assure you. Now, Doctor. Do not refuse hospitality when it is offered. Manners maketh the man, as my good mother would always say. May her soul rest in the heavens. I apologize, Mr. Madison, but I must insist that we continue with the interview. Would you please begin? We are good Christians, Niles. Well-behaved, mature, good-natured. We were good Christians. But we were weak. The flesh is so weak, Niles. I'm afraid I do not understand, Mr. Madison. What do you mean, the flesh is weak? This home, it is built upon evil things, evil acts and evil deeds that even I do not speak of. It came to us when we were performing the sacrament. The abbey, as you have likely seen, is adjoined to the manor. I see it every month that I come by to visit. It's all boarded up nowadays, isn't it? The wife, she daren't look upon it any longer. She fears the place, for that is where she is strongest. Whom do you mean when you say she? You have made many references to her in our meetings. She is who gave us this gift. She came to us as the Mother of God, but we couldn't feel her. Only smell, hear, and I dare not speak it. I understand your discomfort, Mr. Madison, but we must discuss it. We could feel her inside our heads, talking and screaming, whispering and shrieking. She told us that she could free of us our weak flesh, bless us and make us whole if we partook in communion. And shamefully, we did. That and I stim by tweaking my septum ring? I gotcha. And after the communion? Is that when SCP-4738-1 manifested? Aye. Her child. Her child? Would you clarify, please? It's her child. She cannot pass over into the void until it has been raised, nurtured, and cared for. Do you understand, Doctor? We are eternally cursed. End transcript. Next interview, April 2nd, 1985, with 2A. Preface. 2E had initially left the family in 1853, immediately after the covenant between SCP-4738-2 and SCP-4738 came into existence. She has lived across both American continents since leaving, Dr. Niles detained and interviewed SCP-4738-2E upon her arrival at the Madison Manor on April 2nd, 1985. SCP-4738-2E, could you please explain where you have been for the last 132 years? My name is Isabel, Doctor, and as to answer your question, I've been spreading the word of God across the Americas. Which God do you speak of, Isabel? The first or the second? I dare not speak her true name. She is one of blood and flesh, the enemy of our great God. She is the antithesis of everything blessed in our world. She is a blind fool.
What brought you back to your family?
God did. He told me that we must prostrate ourselves at the altar for our sins. Our hubris are in excess. We must become godly and faithful creatures. The masses must see the error of their ways.
I don't believe you, Isabel. Please tell me truthfully about what you spent over 100 years doing.
I feared her. I fled my family who had turned to her, and I was born anew as a member of the faithful congregation of God. I could partake in communion once again.
Thank you, 2E. This interview is concluded.
Addendum 2. Further incident. On April 5th, 1985, all living members of the Madison family were found dead in the family chapel adjoining their manor. The entire family was discovered kneeling before an altar, which SCP-4738-2-2E presided over, whilst wearing a set of ornate red vestments resembling those worn by cardinals of Roman Catholicism. Their cause of death was determined to have been exsanguination, though no wounds, cuts, or lacerations were visible on their bodies. 2E and 2A were recovered with documents clutched in their hands. The first document was addressed to Dr. Jonathan Niles, whilst the latter document was addressed to SCP-4738. Document 1. Dear Dr. Jonathan Niles, we apologize. This burden was ours to carry, and we have failed. We wish to live for all eternity, to be remolded in the image of the Mother of God. We were wrong. We were not the ones who were made into her image. Our wish, our desire, it had a price too steep for any one individual to bear. We profaned the communion, and for that, she remade the communion in her image. We were her inadvertent worshippers, and we toiled surreptitiously towards an unknown goal, only fueling her ambition. Her child is the flesh of all living things, but we made her child in the flesh. We were both gaolers and prisoners. Oh, jailers and prisoners. I can only profusely apologize. I never wanted this, but our daughter confessed to us. We are children of God, and so we must return to Him. Our punishment should be in His arms, not hers. Complete the ritual. Continue my daughter's work. We were weak. You will be strong. Document 2. She who slakes, she whom thirsts eternally, Hemamorpha. This here seals our covenant and oath to you. We of meek flesh, of thin blood, of weak spirit do entrust unto you our bodies, so they may be molded into more perfect forms. For you we shall, to the best of our mortal bodies, observe, enact, and fulfill the communion in your form. A congregation of no more than 10, no less than 4, shall gather before you. Within shall be a maid, a woman, and an invested minister. The communion shall be held aloft, and one who has imbibed the flesh and blood of your transubstantiated form shall empty your blood into the chalice of the minister. As your flesh becomes the bread, so too will your blood become the wine. At this point, the communion will not be that of Christ, but of your form. The congregation will sing a dirge for you, the funeral song that wafts to the void between the stars and the heaven, so your immortal form can descend and observe our flesh, molding it into a form befitting your child. Your child shall come to no worldly nor nor no worldly nor spiritual harm. And so it shall be done on the Sabbath of every week, of every month, of every year. If we do not fulfill the bargain, the very ritual shall not be performed upon our flesh alone, but all flesh, everywhere. All flesh, all blood, all will become one. Your child. Getting flashbacks to the new war with Warframe. All as one. Okay. On to Series Fear. Hopefully it's not gonna be anything too long. Ah, coffee. I love me coffee. Okay. The Public Domain Protection Service? That sounds interesting to me. Pertinent to my interests. Fuck off, Carl! Dart Frog Flora? I remember that one. Jesus fried chicken? One weird trick. You won't believe number 8.
Oh, what's this?
The clusterfuckalypse. Whoa. Printing EKG. Snazzy little effect there. Oh no. Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state. Cthulhu. For Your Eyes Only. I think I remember that one. Maybe. Afterlife. OC Do Not Steal. Orcadian Horsemen, I know that one. Instructions unclear. Got dick stuck in cannon. Oh my god. In one of the earlier series, I noticed one was just called 15 orangutans, and now here is 14 orangutans. Metaphysically? Don't queer the Reaper. Don't tell me what to do. See me after class. Oh, I think I remember that one. Post-traumatic stress dimension? Oh dear. Great American Meme Machine. A very angry box of cereal. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? It's not that anomalous. The War of the Squirrels. Ah, choices. Bacon cheeseburger that demands justification? You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Come on. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, this is a shorter. Well, yeah. This is good. This is tolerable. I'm trying to get all the way to Series 1. Okay. Note: this file possesses cognitohazardous properties and should only be viewed by personnel with an anomalous impulse resistance index of at least 83. All other personnel should close this file immediately and report to their supervisor. SCP-3808. Object Class: Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-3808 is kept on location, placed on a pedestal under a glass bell jar. One guard must be present at all times to ensure that visitors do not take photographs of SCP-3808, as well as to answer questions posed by visitors. Visitors who take issue with SCP-3808's situation should be dismissed by force if necessary. Personnel who recommend changes to these containment procedures or cover story 3808 Gamma should submit proposals in writing to SCP-3808's containment liaison in a sealed envelope with no markings other than their employee ID number. Description: SCP-3808 is a bacon cheeseburger located at 44 degrees 85 blank north, minus 98 degrees 22 blank west, 1.33 meters above the ground. All components of SCP-3808 will rapidly return to their default state and location relative to each other if altered in any fashion. While SCP-3808 can be moved, It is subject to a force in the direction of its resting point proportional to its distance from the resting point. An unaided human cannot move SCP-3808 more than 2 meters from its resting point. Heavy machinery is capable of moving SCP-3808 up to 4 meters away. SCP-3808 is a visual cognitohazard. Subjects who view SCP-3808 or any insufficiently altered image of it become preoccupied. Subjects who view SCP-3808 or any insufficiently altered image of it become preoccupied by SCP-3808's congruence, or lack thereof, with its immediate surroundings. Subjects will attempt to rectify any perceived discrepancy such that they are satisfied that it is sensible for a bacon cheeseburger to occupy SCP-3808's position. For example, if SCP-3808 is suspended midair, subjects will either hold it in place or put some sort of supporting structure underneath it. After rectifying any immediately obvious violations of physics, subjects will typically take issue with SCP-3808's location in a forest with no man-made structures in the immediate vicinity. Different subjects have different priorities and perspectives on this matter, though most will agree that SCP-3808 should be located in some sort of restaurant that sells, among other things, bacon cheeseburgers. Multiple attempts to establish such a restaurant have been stymied by an inability among those responsible to agree on the exact parameters of this restaurant. Persons who are unable to adjust SCP-3808's setting to their satisfaction will generally direct their efforts towards identifying the history and causal mechanism for SCP-3808 in an attempt to integrate SCP-3808's existence into their worldview. Various subjects affected this way have attempted to publish scientific treatises with little to no merit that describe laws of physics that would permit SCP-3808's existence. Exposure to substantial information about SCP-3808 has the same effect as visual exposure, albeit at a greatly reduced rate. Personnel responsible for overseeing and studying SCP-3808 have refused to implement common-sense containment procedures that minimize public access to SCP-3808, stating that it would be nonsensical for a bacon cheeseburger to be hidden in a forest and monitored remotely. Containment procedures for SCP-3808 consequentially underwent 15 major revisions after initial implementation, increasing both Foundation and civilian exposure to SCP-3808 above acceptable levels. All symptoms of SCP-3808 exposure can be eliminated via amnestic treatment. It's either October 4th or April 10th, 2015, Chinese artist Ai Weiwei was contracted as a containment consultant for SCP-3808. Current containment procedures were implemented to his specifications such that SCP-3808 could be interpreted as artistic commentary on the ubiquity of fast food culture and the incorporation of natural areas into modern capitalism. While some personnel were skeptical of the piece's artistic merit and/or the validity of its message, most of those personnel conceded the existence of art installations that they disagreed with and were satisfied by containment procedures. Personnel who objected were then amnesticized. Dr. Bergeron, you are right to ask for a consult on this completely hypothetical question. If an anomaly with the mimetic properties you described were to exist, as you have repeatedly assured me it does not, you would need 2 teams of agents under double black box orders. They receive no information on the SCP, and personnel cleared to know about the SCP know nothing about the other teams. The first team would, in this scenario, be a honeypot for personnel trying to alter containment procedures. Set up a containment liaison for personnel to contact, making sure, of course, that said liaison sees no information other than personnel names. The liaison forwards this information to an independent task force, which tracks down the affected personnel and administers a pre-formulated amnestic regimen. The second team would handle civilians exposed to the anomaly. Station them somewhere all exposed civilians will pass through, at multiple points if necessary, and tell them to do a standard computer and cranium info wipe on everyone who passes through that isn't a guard. COG-HAS teams are trained for this sort of thing, so you don't need to worry about accidental exposure. Naturally, none of this goes in the official SCP file, the totally hypothetical one, of course. Contact me if you have any further questions, Dr. Graff. That's silly. Let's see, that was Series 4? Yeah. Series 3! Yeah. How about the conceptual knife? I wonder if that's what I think it is. I'm a little curious about the lonely rag doll. Oh my. Yeah. I was hoping for something creepy the older we got, and well, here we are. SCP-2116. Object class, previously Euclid, but now safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-2116 is never to be further than 10 meters from SCP-2116-1 at any time. The individual designated as SCP-2116-1 is currently a female, aged 20. SCP-2116-1 will never willingly part with SCP-2116. When SCP-2116-1 expires for any reason, a replacement must be found within 12 hours. The age of the individual designated as SCP-2116-1 is irrelevant. Testing has shown that when a suitable subject is found, the anomalous nature will subside. SCP-2116-1 must be a female subject, as males seem to be unaffected by the anomalous nature of SCP-2116. Once a suitable candidate has been located, SCP-2116 is to be handed over to the subject by a male researcher. Selection criteria for SCP-2116-1 is listed below in Addendum 1. Let's have a look. Must score mid to low on the overall Risk Sophistication Treatment Inventory, or RSTI. Must score low on the Sophistication Maturity Cluster. Must score low on the Cognitive, or SCOG cluster. Must score mid to low on the Emotional, SEMO cluster. And in addition, the subject must meet the following: moderate to low scores in Treatment Amenability, low scores on the Responsibility and Motivation cluster, TRES, and low scores on the Consideration and Tolerance cluster, TCAT. Description: SCP-2116 is a child's doll manufactured sometime in the mid-19th century. SCP-2116 is dressed in a simple red cotton dress with cloth shoes and garments consistent with 19th century garb. The head is constructed of standard bisque porcelain and painted to resemble an adult female. SCP-2116 is otherwise unremarkable in appearance other than the accumulation of a substantial amount of dirt and grime on the surface. If SCP-2116 is further than 10 meters from the current SCP-2116-1 for longer than 5 minutes, its anomalous property will manifest as an alteration to reality within a 1 meter radius centered on SCP-2116 itself. The environment, decor, ambient temperature, and furnishings become altered to be more attractive to a prepubescent human female. Tables will be set with a pink tea set with a teapot filled with a sweet red liquid, various sweet treats will manifest, and the table cover will become a lace tablecloth of a style popular during the mid-19th century. For every hour that SCP-2116 is not in the possession of SCP-2116-1, the region of altered reality expands by 1 meter. Testing has shown that items removed from this region of altered reality retain their altered properties, and food items created are non-toxic and will decay at the same rate as normal items of the food type. Background: SCP-2116 was first discovered when Foundation agents embedded in the Blank State Patrol detected a call to investigate a house with a dead body. Foundation agents responded to the call and discovered the home of Redacted changed entirely. The entire house, which had been a ranch-style dwelling built in the early 1960s, had been changed to a Victorian-style 2-story dwelling with a steeply pitched roof, wide front porch, and a turret-style gable on the front corner. All internal furnishings had been altered and feature sofas, paintings, and other items consistent with mid-19th century homes. In an upstairs bedroom, agents found the body of Redacted, an 80-year-old female. An autopsy revealed nothing unusual. The victim had apparently expired due to a sudden massive myocardial infarction. Interviews with neighbors revealed that the occupant of the house had been an 11-year-old child. Statements indicate that the neighbors did not find anything unusual about a child living alone in the house. Research into possible mimetic effects from SCP-2116 are still pending. Neighbors state that for as long as they had known the victim, she would never allow SCP-2116 to be out of her grasp. Class B amnestics were administered to neighbors and city records were altered to show that the house had always been a 2-story Victorian. During recovery, agents noted that surroundings were being altered as they were investigating and proceeded with due haste. Agent Redacted became a casualty during the recovery process when she apparently removed SCP-2116 from the grip of the victim. Agents accompanying her state that they heard a scream from the upstairs bedroom and subsequently found an oil portrait of Agent Redacted dressed in mid-19th century clothing with SCP-2116 on the floor next to it. Male agents were able to handle SCP-2116 with no ill effects. It was after SCP-2116 was placed in containment that researchers noted that the rate of conversion was increasing. A D-class female was brought in as a test to see how the anomalous nature of SCP-2116 would respond. The D-class, now designated as SCP-2116-1, had been committed to life in Blank State Mental Hospital after a psychiatric evaluation determined that she was mentally incompetent to stand trial. SCP-2116-1 has been in a persistent catatonic state since her arrest in Blank. Just looking through the latest disconnect. Come on, let's go! Let's go, reconnect! Oh wait, no, it's because I just straight up have no internet at the moment. Welp! I'm gonna give it a minute, I'll sip my coffee. Okay, it looks like it's back now. OBS trying to reconnect. It's not giving me a countdown this time. Oh, now it's out again. Well. Well. I guess I'll keep reading. Test log 1 follows. Oh, yeah. 10:32 a.m. SCP-2116 is placed in SCP-2116-1's hands. 10:33 -1 stirs and looks down at SCP-2116. 10:34 -1 begins stroking the hair of SCP-2116. 10:35 and 15 seconds, -1 screams. 10:39, 20 seconds, -1's hands lock around SCP-2116. 10:40, 2 seconds, high-speed footage shows SCP-2116-1 shrinking in size. 10:40 and 30 seconds. -1 is transformed into a doll similar in size and clothing to SCP-2116. Testing has shown that SCP-2116-1 doll exhibits no anomalous properties. So it's self-replicating? The rate of alteration of the surroundings of SCP-2116 increased noticeably following this test to 1.5 meters per hour. Foundation researchers located a second suitable female D-class subject. The subject, now designated SCP-2116-1, was a 19-year-old female convicted of brutally stabbing a man while working as a prostitute. Subject was handed SCP-2116 by researcher blank. Test log 2. 11:36 a.m. Placed in -1's hands. -1 looks down at SCP-2116. 11:37 and 26 seconds. -1 exclaims, "What the blank is this?" -1's hands grip SCP-2116 tightly. 11:37:35. -1 screams. Next second begins to shrink. 11:37:37. High-speed footage shows SCP-2116-1's hands and arms curving upward and fusing together while the legs draw up into the torso. Wow! peekp.com. Remove the space. Is it gone? I hope it's gone. Anyway. 11:37:38. -1 has been replaced by a fine china teapot. The rate of alteration did not change following this test. It is theorized that there is an upper limit to the range of change possible. Did I say range of change? Rate of change. A third D-class female was brought in for testing. This subject, designated SCP-2116-1, is a 20-year-old female who was incarcerated for burning down a church following an attempt at an exorcism by her parents and the local priest. 2:20 p.m. SCP-2116 is placed in -1's hands. -1 throws SCP-2116 to the floor. 2:21. SCP-2116 is placed back in -1's hands. -1 looks down at SCP-2116. 2:22. 2:22:12. -1 smiles at SCP. 2:22:20. -1 nods at SCP. 2:23:15. -1 hugs SCP. 2:23:20. -1 begins to shrink. 2:24. -1 regresses to an 11-year-old child. High-speed footage shows an extremely rapid regression from her current age to the appearance of an 11-year-old girl. 2:24:20. Anomalous changes around SCP-2116 stop. A complete search of the site of the initial discovery revealed a photo album containing photos of the deceased subject, designated SCP-2116-0, holding SCP-2116 as a small child. The photograph is dated at 1943. Interviews with neighbors indicated that it was the same child that lived in the house. Older photos in the album show a deceased elderly female, presumed to be a relative of SCP-2116-0, holding the same doll. It is unknown at what point SCP-2116 assumed its anomalous properties. All pictures in the photo album featuring SCP-2116-0 show SCP-2116 in its possession. Currently, SCP-2116-1 has had SCP-2116 in her possession for 65 days. No anomalous changes have been detected during this time. So basically, you know, only certain types of women are allowed to be in ownership of it. Basically those who are, you know, like, of a more, like, innocent disposition. A kinder, nicer, more playful. As opposed to those who are hardened by the world, or, you know, like, in one case, like, criminal murderer. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Series 2. Oh wait, that's right. I can't check any other articles while my internet is down. Phooey. There we are. My whole internet is starting to give out now. And I can't have that, because I need the internet in order to access these articles. Anyway, Series 2. We are almost to the end. I'll probably get to Series 1 and then probably call it a night. Clearly my internet is throwing a fit. Let's see. LaBeouf viewer. Mimetic emu? Mematodes. Easter frog. I remember that one. Fraternal Order of Cave Mantas. Rubber Ducky. Cartographers Guild. Pastorbot. Pastorbot is a classic. The Sound of Silence. Dreamtime Whale Shark. Mallow. The Multiverse Strip Club. The Gas Mask. Pink Flamingos. Lots of classics in here. Naturally. Larry the Loving Llama. Giraffe Hell. Venus statue. I think that's another one where I did an illustration for it. How about... Insta-teen tablets? Man egg! Man egg. Solar parasite? The song stuck in your head. Bag of holding potatoes. Kind of impenetrable barrier. Oh, where the dragons went. That's a really good one, but it's really sad. Skyrider sloths. The rake? Is it the same kind of rake that I'm thinking of? The crew of the HMS Wintersheimer. I've heard that one. Yeah, let's look at the rake. Okay. SCP-1847. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. Due to the unique nature of SCP-1847, containment protocols are to be enacted in response to manifestations as they occur. No female personnel are permitted involvement in the containment protocols for SCP-1847 at any time. All public flight manifests inbound to England, United Kingdom, are to be monitored and recorded. Should the name William Whitward appear on any passenger listing, personnel are to be deployed to said flight and observe the individual under the guise of flight attendants. If the subject is determined to be a manifestation of SCP-1847, said agents are to alert Mobile Task Force Delta 22 Gentlemen to the situation. MTF Delta 22 is to apprehend SCP-1847 upon landing, and all passengers and airline staff involved in the incident are to be administered Class A amnestics. Standard media blackout procedures are to be followed. SCP-1847 is then to be transferred to the nearest practicable, secure site. Manifestations of SCP-1847 are to be housed in a humanoid containment cell, and all interaction with the entity is to be conducted through male personnel. SCP-1847 is to remain under video and audio surveillance constantly, and any change in its behavior is to be reported to a Level 3 or higher personnel immediately. SCP-1847-1 is not to be removed from SCP-1847 at any time. If SCP-1847 disappears, the containment supervisor is to notify personnel involved in the public monitoring of the phenomenon immediately. Lethal force is not to be used against SCP-1847 at any time. Should SCP-1847 die, containment personnel are to monitor all outbound flights from England for a minimum of 1 month. Should the name William Whitward appear on any such flight, the containment protocols listed above are to be enacted. Description: SCP-1847 is a humanoid entity, a Caucasian male in its mid-30s, self-identifying as William Whitward. The identity's appearance is consistent between manifestations, sporting green eyes, light brown medium-length hair, and a lean build, 73 to 78 kilograms, with a height of 174 centimeters. Its clothing consists of black tie formal evening wear with a wool polyester jacket and silk shirt. SCP-1847 is generally evasive regarding personal details when communicating with non-females, though consistent information obtained regarding these facets of the entity are as follows. It claims to be on a business trip from the United States. It claims not to be married or dating. It claims to have no living family, and it claims to be significantly affluent. SCP-1847 possesses an innate cognitive property affecting certain female individuals exposed to it. SCP-1847's effect applies only to androphilic individuals that identify as female, including heterosexual and bisexual women of any age, and male-to-female transgender individuals who are attracted to men. Okay, so anybody strictly attracted to women or NBs, not affected. Said individuals will find SCP-1847 unnaturally physically attractive, regardless of the individual's aesthetic interests, and this effect will increase in intensity continuously as the elapsed duration of exposure to SCP-1847 increases. While SCP-1847 has been thoroughly searched prior to and during containment, and all searches thus far have produced no items or accessories on its being, the entity has been documented to produce several objects on various occasions, including a leather wallet complete with personal identification and currency, a set of keys, an airplane ticket and passport, an ornate dagger with a ruby-encrusted golden hilt, SCP-1847-1, and a phone, black, unknown make and model. The wallet and passport confirm that SCP-1847's name is William Whitward, it is 35 years old, and originates from Redacted, USA. The keys and phone have not been recovered for analysis. SCP-1847-1 has been recovered, but no analysis is as of yet possible, as forcibly removing SCP-1847-1 from SCP-1847's care will cause the entity to prematurely disappear within 3 minutes of removal. Any item or accessory that has been removed from SCP-1847 will disappear simultaneously with the entity. SCP-1847 will manifest on public aircraft inbound to England. Airline personnel have thus far not been able to account for the point at which William Whitward's name is added to the passenger list during each manifestation. The exact point of manifestation appears to occur during the boarding process, though individuals exposed to SCP-1847 during this phase will be unable to remember the precise point of the entity's appearance. SCP-1847 does not travel with any luggage, carry-on or otherwise. Upon landing, SCP-1847 will immediately seek out an unmarried female aged between 27 and 34 years and begin to court her. Due to SCP-1847's properties, the individual will enthusiastically reciprocate SCP-1847's advances, culminating in sexual intercourse. Upon completion of the sex act, SCP-1847 will produce SCP-1847-1 and murder the victim, always resulting through cardiac impalement. Upon death, the body will rapidly disintegrate, producing an item of jewelry which is collected by SCP-1847. SCP-1847 will repeat this process until it has collected 5 items, at which point it will immediately disappear. The items are always the same and collected in the same order: a ring, a bracelet, 2 earrings acquired separately, and a necklace, all crafted from gold and embedded with rubies. If SCP-1847 is confined and unable to perform its activities, it will disappear within 4 to 16 weeks of initial capture. No methods have proven viable in preventing this occurrence. Intervals between SCP-1847 manifestations can be as short as 2 weeks or as long as 18 months. SCP-1847 is mortal, though its death will not prevent further manifestations and termination is ill-advised. Should SCP-1847 die, its body will disappear and a new manifestation will occur within 2 to 4 weeks, though this will occur on a public flight outbound from England. After landing, SCP-1847 will proceed with the above-mentioned activities as normal. Addendum 1 is an interview log. Interviewed is the SCP. Interviewer is Dr. Adler. Begin log 5:15 p.m. Why did you kill those women? I haven't killed anyone. Were you not traveling to England to murder 5 women? I haven't killed anyone. According to our records, you have killed blank women in England, blank and... I have never been to England before. I've never even been outside of the United States before. Why were you heading to London? For business. You were not intending to seduce and stab 5 women to death with a dagger? ... What is the last thing you did before planning this trip? I went to an auction. An auction? Held by whom? You expect me to remember the name? It was in Redacted. Wait, I think I have... Yes, this. SCP-1847 produces his wallet and withdraws a business card, which he hands to Dr. Albert. Dr. Albert? Dr. Adler. The Marshall Carter and Dark logo is plainly visible. Son of a bitch. What? Why did you plan the trip? It told me to. What did? Data expunged. What? Data expunged the dagger. Why did it tell you this? I like being beautiful. Reconnaissance in Redacted confirmed that a Marshall Carter and Dark exhibition took place in blank blank 20 blank. Among the items detailed in this event was the following. Item blank. A magnificent, ornate dagger measuring 27 centimeters in length. The hilt is crafted from 10-karat gold and adorned with 10 rubies. This blade will bestow its wielder with its unearthly beauty and lead them to further riches eternally. Price, the sum of your life. Addendum 2. On blank blank 2000 blank at 7:08 p.m., SCP-1847 withdrew a phone from its clothing while in containment. SCP-1847 proceeded to communicate to an unknown individual through the device for 1 minute and 29 seconds. The voice originating from the phone's speaker was undetectable. No signal was detected entering or exiting SCP-1847's chamber. Hello? Hi, dear. No, that's not... Will you just listen to me for a second? We've been through this before. There's no one. I just... Calm down, honey. Calm down. Yes. I promise. Yes. Yes. No, just tell the kids... Yes, that. Good. No, but I'm gonna bring you something special. It's a surprise. Oh, it will look beautiful on you. Yes, I love you too. And they close the phone. 2 months after this incident, Foundation personnel managed to locate the residence of William Whitward in Redacted, USA. The estate, along with reportedly all of Whitward's belongings, were then in the possession of Marshall Carter and Dark, having been obtained through the terms of purchasing SCP 1847-1. Through an agreement with MCD, Foundation personnel have been allowed to search the premises and maintain observation of the location. During the initial exploration, 3 sets of human remains were discovered, buried 1 meter beneath a dirt floor in the cellar. The remains included 1 adult female, 1 adolescent male, and 1 prepubescent female, all displaying evidence of multiple impalements. Dun dun dun! So basically, rich guy stabby women for riches. Until some point in the unforeseen future. Anyway, we are finally capping off this stream with one more from the OG, Series 1. The question is, which one? There's so many. And there are so many good ones. The iPods. An Incomplete Chronicle. The Telekill Alloy. I think that might have been, retconned. SCP-173. The OG. The Architect. The Clockwork Virus, that one's pretty cool. The Gayest Man Alive. SCP RPG. Most of an Allosaurus. Weeping Frog. An Old Iron Nail. Time Schooner. A Rock That Falls Sideways. The Stepford Marriage Rings. Oh god. The Coffee Machine. I love the Coffee Machine. Steely Dan. World in a Bottle. The Doorman. The Frogs. God. Baba Yaga. The Red Pool. Goodness grievance. Variably useful flu. I am a toaster. The getaway car? It says I checked that one out, but I don't actually remember what it is. Panacea. Reluctant Dimension Hopper. That's a great one. Flock of doves. Mr. Fish. Tannin bombs. Oh. Katana of apparent invincibility. Inaccurate history book. That guy. Ontological six balls. The flesh that hates. Mr. Hot. Death predicting man. Communal avian intelligence. Dangerous curves. The Jade Ring. The Hanged King's Tragedy. Jormungandr. Automatic artist. Oh boy. I bet that hits a lot different nowadays. What is this one? I don't remember this one. Mannequin. Trapped Winter. Hypergraphia. The Clockworks. Great shit. I'm running out of articles. Vocalizing frogs. I gotta pick something that seems at least that seems properly perturbing. Because this is where the bulk of them are supposed to be on the creepier side. A gift from Dad. That one's sweet. Oh. Which Which one? Which one? Which one? The pan-dimensional vending machine. That's also a great one. How about a photo album? Let's have a little looky-loo. Oh, my internet is throwing a fit again. Come on! Here we go. Alright. Last one for the night. SCP-223. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-223 is kept in a locked containment vault in Site-19. If the 2 photos missing from SCP-223 are recovered, they should be stored in 2 separate, specially prepared vaults at Site-17. Any personnel who see any anomalies appear anywhere in SCP-223 must be reassigned to another project immediately. Such personnel must be kept under observation for mental instability, including tri-weekly examination by a site psychiatrist, and are advised to minimize their exposure to photographs of any kind. Description: SCP-223 is a photo album, capable of holding 30 photos, bound like a small hardcover book. The photos are attached to the pages with an unknown adhesive. It matches the appearance of a product made by blank, but lacks any brand label. From Danny with Love has been written on the back in blue ink. SCP-223 contains 28 photos which chronicle an engaged couple's vacation to blank beach. The final 2 pages of the album have been ripped out. The couple in the photos has been positively identified as blank and blank blank and blank blank, who went on the vacation depicted June of 19 blank. E and L died on June blank in a murder-suicide by blank, or by E. E's suicide note claimed he found his fiancée in bed with another man and killed her. However, no evidence of such an affair was ever found. There is one other person who frequently appears in the photos of SCP-223, a Caucasian male with attractive and somewhat androgynous features, designation SCP-223-1. Based on his behavior in the photos, he seems to be a friend of the couple. All attempts to determine the identity of SCP-223-1 have proven fruitless. SCP-223-1 does not appear in photos and recorded footage of SCP-223, although careful comparative analysis of the photos and data expunged. Occasionally, persons reading SCP-223 will see the likeness of their romantic interest in one or more of SCP-223's photos, replacing an incidental bystander. Independent observers can verify that the photos do in fact change. However, these anomalies are always discovered by the individual they most concern. SCP-223 seems to target readers who are in a stable, happy, romantic relationship with these anomalies. SCP-223 apparently can only target one person at a time in this way. If the discoverer of the anomaly, hereafter the target, continues to read SCP-223, their perceptions of the album's contents will change radically. While any other reader continues to see the original photos, the target will see an album of photos of their romantic partner interacting with an androgynous but attractive member of the target's sex. The target invariably reacts with jealousy and suspicion, and if allowed, will search for the final 2 pages, believing that the contents will prove whether or not the target's partner is cheating. The effects of SCP-223 on a given target wear off completely within 1 week unless the target is exposed to new photos or SCP-223. At this point, the current target's love interest's likeness will vanish from the album, and the target can safely view ordinary photographs. A former target attempting to view SCP-223's photographs will see redacted. Ooh, 60 times. Hi, Binky. I only just saw your messages. Wow. I've been having every issue with my internet tonight. Like there. I disconnected right there. 3, 2, 1. Nope. 3, 2, 1. There we are. I was just saying I just saw your messages just now. Sorry. My internet has been throwing an absolute shit fit tonight. The only reason I have continued going on this long is because I'm also recording my own, I am recording the footage on my own end, so I can upload a full VOD, at the very least. So, you know, you're missing all the shit, you can watch that. Anyway. If not allowed contact with SCP-223 following the initial discovery, the target's perceptions of other photographs will also be altered. The nature of these alterations varies depending on the content of the photos, but the majority involve the inclusion of a humanoid similar to SCP-223-1. Pictures including both the target and the target's romantic partner seem to be the most psychologically damaging to view. Exposure to a sufficiently large number of photographs seems to cause a brainwashing effect in the target, creating a strong delusion of great danger that can only be resolved by returning the missing photos to SCP-223. This appears to be caused by a long succession of subliminal signals and traumatizing images, rather than by any actual psychic influence. Psychological Report 223-6, Dr. Morris, blank blank 19 blank, interview log. Please be seated. How long has it been since your first exposure? About a week? Yeah, that's right. 7 days. It's all kind of blurred. How do you feel? Sort of paranoid? Edgy. Like he's watching me from somewhere, somehow. Any update on the missing photos? Who do you mean by he? The man we called 223-1. From the photos. He's... Yes? Silence. Have you been exposed to any photos since your last visit? No. Good. What do you see here? Photo is of a grizzly bear drinking from a pool. Seems to be a photo of 2 bears mating. Very well. And this? Photo is of a bed, no figures present. A naked man seated on a bed. Look, it's been a week, right? You can let me go? I've got to find those photos. You seem extremely interested in SCP-223's missing photographs. Why? I've got to prove Lily's innocence. Dr. Morris, your wife is in no danger. We discovered nearly 20 photographs hidden in and around your quarters, Dr. Morris. Whatever you saw in those photos is not real. Morris lunging at the examiner, restrained by guards. Liar! You're working for them, aren't you? Take him away from now. Wait! When can I see Lily again? Log ends. Morris was given a Class A amnestic and has now returned to his full duties. Mrs. Morris has been informed that her husband is dead. Oh dear. Addendum 1. Further analysis of E's autopsy report indicates that several of the wounds found on his body could not have been self-inflicted, therefore suicide has been ruled out as cause of death. There is no evidence of anyone other than E entering or leaving the scene of the crime for at least 24 hours before and after his death, although redacted one of the walls. That's kind of funky. It's a photo album that gives you like paranoid episodes about your significant others. I wonder how well it would impact those of us with polyamorous persuasions. It's like, oh, you're fucking another person? Oh, that's cool. What are they like? Okay. I think I'm gonna stop right there. Call it quits. I'm gonna quickly find someone to raid. You know, while I have a moment of cooperation, as brief as it is. Let me see here. Who is live right now? About goodness me. And there's so many people! So many PayPal! Fuck. Shit. I don't know. We raided Solaris last time, right? It just happens that Solaris streams on the same nights that I do. As well as Wednesdays. Which, you know, they got that. They got that going for them. I do not stream on Wednesdays, normally. That being said, over the next, like, week or so, I do, you know, due to transportation difficulties, I actually won't be going to the library for, like, yeah, another week or so. So, who knows? Maybe I'll consider something. Here, how about Star Saints? They're playing some GTA. Raid messages! I will see you all next Monday, Lily Pals, with whatever I decide to get up to. Honestly, I have a temptation, maybe, to do an SCP game. Maybe. Possibly. Potentially. Anyway. Star Saints, let's go! I do want to express a great thanks for your patience for tonight. For sticking around this long in spite of all the DCs. Christ, tonight was bad. Hopefully next time will be a lot better. Honestly, I anticipate that the biggest problem is just that like my brother is over for the weekend, and so they're probably watching a bunch of TV and shit. And it's sapping up the bandwidth. Oh well. Look forward to the full VOD, at the very least. I'll be uploading that soonish. Have a great time zone, Lily Pals. Take care of yourselves. Y'all selves. Oh yeah, swimming!